Yeah, I think the public now is much more in tune with having a conversation that maybe aging isn't a foregone conclusion, much more than maybe 20 years ago or even 10 years ago when we started the show. Probably it's still a long way from being a common thought, but a lot of people now are starting to really say, well, yeah, maybe aging's a disease. Maybe aging isn't something that's just a foregone conclusion. And if that's the case, then you might have solved one of the biggest cons on the human psyche, which is you just got to let it go and not try, and all of this crazy stuff, these mindsets. I mean, you mentioned my Instagram videos. I mean, I'm 51 and I'm doing head spins as a break dancer. And,
Right.
I bet David 30 years ago, I wouldn't have done that because there would have been so much subliminal messaging that I had to act my age, or old people didn't do that, or I should feel these pains that maybe I wouldn't. But being around ideas like yours, I just think, well, why the hell not? So the mentality of it makes a big difference.
It makes a big difference. And I find there's two groups of people now. There's the forward thinkers who are saying, well, that might be interesting to live, way past 100. But still the majority, but the smaller majority says, I wouldn't want to do that. I would be in a wheelchair and diapers, and I wouldn't know my own name, and my skin would be so thin that you could see through me. And there is no evidence that that is the only way to age. That's just what we've seen so far. And those are the same people who said, a week before the first airplane flew, men can never fly, and all this made up nonsense. Same thing with the 4 minute mile. It's impossible. One guy breaks the 4 minute mile, and the next year, four guys do. And now it's like in high school, people break a 4 minute mile. So what happened? We just became aware it was possible and we started doing it. That's my job right now. It is possible to be healthy, strong, focused, high energy, have a good sex drive, and to be more than 100. I know because I've seen it. And those are people who did not have any of the benefits we have today of AI, of the ability to access more information than a king or a president 50 years ago could do. You can get it for free online. And we're at a point where if you're willing to put in the time, you're willing to pay attention, you can completely change what aging looks like. And the new vision that I have for when I'm 180 is that I am at least as strong as I am now. I am way more wise than I am now because I'll have seen even more government tyranny overthrown. And I will actually be in a position to share a lifetime of knowledge with people who are interested. And I see it that way because I'm so lucky that people literally, I had an 88-year-old mentoring me when I was 26. It was so much knowledge and so much wisdom and all of that. I can't imagine what will happen when I'm 150 and I'm working with people in their 20s saying, man, here's the stuff you should have known. And if only 10% of them are open to it, and they take that and then they live 150 years, we're going to change the shape of society with that kind of stuff. We need our village elders back. We used to always have those. And now our older people are largely too tired and just not even respected. And so if you're too tired and your brain doesn't work, of course you can't do your job. And I'm looking to make some changes there. I still find friends who are 20 and 30 years older than me, and I learn from them. And I have friends who are much younger than me, and I learn from them too. And that's in a healthy society, that's how it works. And it's not normal to be segmented only by your age. That's a very recent invention, and it's not healthy for humans.
Yeah, I've had recent contact with three of my guests in their late 70s. Guys like Robert Kiyosaki, Jim Rickards, and Dan Pena, who you know because we were both at his castle in Scotland about 7 years ago. And these guys are in their late 70s. Not only are they crushing it, they're like creating new intellectual property. They've got like big plans. They're almost at the top of their game. And it's like fascinating to see. And you're thinking, wow, if you can keep this up for another 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, you get some super powerful people and ones that can pass on so much knowledge. Also, at this part of their life, Dave, they're usually giving a lot back or trying to give a lot back. So imagine if that continues and there was more of it. Yeah, the world would be a better place, for sure.
That's a really important piece of advice. I think your listeners in particular would appreciate. And this isn't the stuff that's in my new book or anything, but when I was in my 20s, I was really focused on being an entrepreneur, even my very early 20s. And by the time I was 26, I was quite successful. I did it. But I had this mindset that no one wanted to help and that I had to do it myself. And that if I accepted help, I would be burdened with some kind of responsibility, like I would owe people. And this was just due to my parenting and my upbringing. The reality is that if you let someone help you, you are giving them a gift. Because humans are wired, it feels good in our meat operating system, the automatic parts of us. It feels good to help another human. We're supposed to do that. It feels as good as eating feels. So if you're like, hey, sure, I'd love to have your help. If you do that for someone and you let them help you, they feel good about themselves. You don't owe them anything. You might want to help someone else or help them back. But if I would have been more relaxed that way, I would probably be a billionaire now. Because in the early days of the internet and the web, I'm the first guy to sell anything over the internet. Before e-commerce had a name, I sold a caffeine t-shirt out of my dorm room. And I was written up in Entrepreneur Magazine, full page picture when I weighed 300 pounds, all that kind of stuff. And all I would have had to do was go to Silicon Valley. It was 80 miles from where I lived, and start talking to people. But I just didn't, I had the arrogance. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't want to receive help. One of my contemporaries, Mark Andreessen, who's now a very famous investor, he wrote the first web browser back then. So we're both e-commerce, web browser. And I look at what he did. He was the same age as me. He called up the CEO of a company called Sun Microsystems, a many billion-dollar tech company, and said, hey, what do I do? And Mark's a multi-billionaire. I'm not. Right? It's the willingness and ability to ask for and receive help, especially when you're getting started out. Do that, man. And that's a very smart thing to do. I chose the harder path, which was I'm just going to forge ahead myself. And I was successful, right? I made $6 million when I was 26. I didn't make $60 million when I was 26 because I didn't receive help. Mark did. So there you go.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.